It's the Brandon Cruz Daily Fantasy Podcast, where I go and look at low and plays and strategy specifically designed for GPPs. This is a show for people who are already informed on daily fantasy sports and how these contests operate. If you have any question related to NASCAR, it isn't a stupid question, feel free to shoot them away on Twitter, BrandonCruzDFS. Most importantly, take everything you hear with a grain of salt and use your best judgment making entries. Additionally, if you have a game election, that's just not my problem. Check your sense of feelings at the door. We're talking about the truck series at the Glen this week. And if you look on the screen, I kind of already started because I started talking and I wasn't recording. So thank God I only got to the fourth driver in and maybe only wasted about 4 minutes of my time instead of realizing I didn't record when I finished. And here's the rundown of what I was saying the first time I recorded. This is, we're at the beginning of the month. If you want to join the Patreon, if you want to support me, what I do, either with the live shows, with the content I provide, if you want to view my projections or just support me in general, you can do it through Patreon. You can also do it through PayPal. Both those links are in the description below. However, I know that the NFL season is right around the corner. It's pretty much here. A lot of the content is already being put out for the preseason, especially tonight for the showdown content from a lot of providers. So if you're one of those guys who prioritizes football over NASCAR and you got to leave me to go support an NFL content creator, by all means, go right ahead. But if you're staying with me, I do appreciate it. Outside of that, looking at the truck series here, we only have 72 laps in this race, so the primary source of your DK points are going to be from place differential plays. And obviously, I'm going to rank everybody if you're kind of new here. Obviously, I have more stuff here, but I don't usually fill it out, at least for the video. Like, I have all this on the back end, but people really didn't care a ton when I used to fill this out for the video. Anyway, focusing on the main guys you should focus on, the obvious place differential plays. Obviously, Sheldon Creed, Kaz Gralla, A.J. Allmendinger, Grant Finger, Parker Kligerman, Paul Menard. Those would be the main guys I would look at. You can throw Sam Mayer in there, but I think he's probably the worst of those place differential plays. But obviously, try and get those guys into your lineups. As I just said, it's only 72 laps, so a big portion of those DraftKings points are going to be coming from your, huge place differential plays in the back. And all those guys are going to be in the player pool for me. I'm going to try and get as many of those guys in the lineups as possible. So outside of that, that's more so where this ranking comes into play and where I want to target certain guys. And so inside the top 10, I think we're going to see, let me back up a little bit. I have a lot of drivers projected between 31 and 44 points. I think it's like 20. I have 18 drivers right now projected in that window. And so it's going to be really close in terms of scoring outside of the place differential plays, if that makes sense. So if you're looking at, kind of this in like blocks or whatever, you have those place differential plays I just talked about, and then you have pretty much everybody else to pair with those guys. And if everybody else is that close in terms of projected points, at least for me, then I think a lot of people are in play. At the same time, I think a lot of people aren't in play because we want to also hit close to at least a 5x value. And I have a lot of guys projected for 4 6s, 4 5s, even 4 7s. Going back to the top 10, I only think that in terms of lineup construction, only one guy in the top 10 would make sense. And that could be either Gillen, Crafton, Rhodes, or John Hunter Nemechek. However, I only think one of those guys actually ends up working. And I'm not very interested in the top 10 in general. That was a very long-winded explanation of that. Right now, I have Austin Hill projected for 37 points. I got Gillen projected for 43.65. I got Crafton for 40.25. Rhodes for 41.35. And then John Hunter Nemechek at 46.7. And none of those hit a 5x value. Nemechek's the only close guy there, and he's at a 4.9 at the moment. So I wanted to at least bring that up of why I'm not really interested inside the drivers inside the top 10 here. Let me get that there. Let's see. Not going to be playing Derek. I expect him to do something stupid in this race. Zane Smith just not going to get to. Carson Hocevar not going to get to as well. Tyler Ankrum on the fringe of considering. The reason I'm ranking these two guys as Bs is because these would be my primary guys that I would focus on inside the top 10 if I'm going to focus on somebody there. Nemechek is quite difficult to get to at 9,500 if you're paying up for a lot of place differential plays. I actually don't mind Ben Rhodes. As I said, I have him projected for 41.35 points right now. However, I think you need to consider him because we're seeing Ben Rhodes as a guy who, obviously, he won earlier in the year. Let me bring this back. He ended up winning the first race on the road course this year at the Daytona Road Course. But we're seeing him at least, be a contender to lead laps in these road course races, which is something that I can't really say about Smith. Crafton's consistent, but he's not leading laps, even, Zane Smith and all those guys. So Rhodes, Nemechek, and Ankrum would be the only guys I would look at going back to Rhodes. I'm just highlighting him as a B here, but he would end up being a C for me. But I think you need to consider Ben Rhodes as one of the three guys if you're playing guys inside the top 10, starting inside the top 10 in this race. I don't like Danny Bone. I don't like Mr. Up and Over. I don't like Ryan Truex. Tate Fogelman depends on if you need the salary. I don't hate this play. I currently have Fogelman right now for 21 points, and none of these points are finalized. Like, this is, Thursday projections. I might go up and down depending on what I think is going to happen Saturday. But right now I got Fogelman for 21 points. I got Sauter as a play that I really like a lot. Same thing with Eckes. Corey Heim is just too expensive. I have Eckes and Corey Heim separated by 1 point, and just for that matter, I'll end up going Eckes over Corey Heim just because I don't much care to pay up for that. Need to consider Friesen. Need to consider Hailie Deegan as well. Mainly her price is really attractive. I think we might end up seeing a bit of Hailie Deegan chalk because $6,700 is where your choices really begin to start when you're playing a lot of the guys in the back who are offering a lot of place differential, the expensive guys in the back. I love Sheldon Creed. I think Creed has a good chance to get up there, lead laps, get fast laps in this race. Easily compete for a top 5 finish. I like it a lot. I don't remember if I said it in this one or the one that I just recorded, but going to A.J. Allmendinger, I just want to bring this up, is people complain about Kyle Busch, ruining the Xfinity Series, ruining the Truck Series. But A.J. Allmendinger is punching below his weight class, like right now. Like, this is legit a heavyweight entering the strawweight division. Like, this is a no contest between like people like Creed, people like A.J. Allmendinger. They're just so much better than the field. It's ridiculous. Even with AJ being in a Nice Motorsports car, I think you need to consider A.J. Allmendinger and Creed. And the reason I'm bringing him up right after I mentioned Creed is because these two are my highest projected drivers in this race in terms of projected points. I love Austin Wayne Self. I like him as a play here. Don't go overboard on Barry. I only have Barry projected for 38 points at the moment. I would be extremely worried about Josh Berry chalk here. It just seems like something that's going to happen. I haven't read anything. I haven't seen anything from anybody else this week because this is still, at least midweek right now. So I don't know what people are thinking. I feel like Josh Berry is going to carry a lot of chalk here. I have him easily going over a 5x value, but just be wary of that. I honestly don't mind Tanner Gray. Cheaper. I don't have him at a 5x right now. I got him at 4.9 at 34 points. But if everybody's going to be, if it seems like a lot of people are going to end up playing Barry, I think Tanner Gray is a great place to at least get a bit lower ownership, at least off of the Josh Berry guys here. I like Kaz Gralla a lot. He is my third highest projected right now, and so all right, let me look. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's my fourth, actually. Sorry about that. He's my fourth highest play. Lawless Allen, just not going to get to it. Norm Benning, not going to get to it here. I got Norm Benning projected for negative points. Jack Wood, gonna be a no for me. I was messing around with some lineups earlier, just trying to get different in the 6K range, but I think it's too risky going John Wood. Will Rogers, certainly not going to do it as well. I like Enfinger. Chad Chastain, directly taken out of a NASCAR 06 fantasy driver. This is a fake name. I know it's Ross's brother, but like, dude, this is a fake name. Like, this is a driver. This is like a Madden '08 fantasy guy. Like, it's a wild. Not gonna be playing Chastain. I got him projected for 22 points. If you want to play him, I think you depending on who you play, you do need to dip into the 4K range. I would much rather go up and play Fogelman, honestly, over Chad, but that's just me. Taylor Gray, I'm gonna do it as well. I gotta talk about Tanner Gray right fast because I gotta have fun. I gotta enjoy doing this. So, obviously Taylor Gray has done some really dumb shit. The Snapchat at Daytona in the practice session, getting into a single car accident, like privately on the road, and it's just wild that he's even here. However, at the same time, I like crashes. I'm here to watch, not racing in general, but certainly NASCAR. I'm here for the crashes. And people like Tanner Gray. If you saw what he did this last week in the ARCA race at Winchester when he dumped a kid on the front straightaway, gave him a concussion, gave him whiplash symptoms, you gotta love it. How can you not hate? How can you hate Tanner Gray or Taylor Gray? He's here to have fun. He's here to wreck people, and hopefully Tanner Gray's going to that guy that he wrecked, and he's like, that's why you don't mess with me. And I saw some NASCAR YouTubers, I think it was Eric Stepp, talking about like, oh man, ARCA's unwatchable now, which it is, but at the same time it's entertaining because they just wreck each other. It's teenagers just wrecking each other. And he said something about Tanner Gray, all these young kids are wanting to be more like Dale Earnhardt than Martin Martin. And I'm like, look, man, do you know how much pussy Dale Earnhardt got? Like, compare Mark Martin to Earnhardt. Sure, Mark Martin may have had sex, but Dale Earnhardt fucked, straight up. He was a baller. And I have to bring this up because every time something like this happens, I have to look up the greatest quote I've ever seen. If you've never read it, it's the 2008 Rolling Stones article about Tony Stewart when he was falling. I love it, man. Oh my God, I love Tony Stewart. Love these guys. So Taylor Gray, if you want to keep wrecking people, if you want to keep dumping people, same thing to you, Noah Gragson. If you want to keep wrecking people, if you just want to keep dumping people, I fully support you. You got a fan here. I am here to support the chaos creators. So keep that in mind. Keep wrecking the field. NASCAR, keep taking them to Knoxville. Let's keep wrecking and tearing stuff up. Now that that's out of the way. Raheem not going to do it. Boyd not going to do it. Ryu's not going to do it. Hill's interesting. They're bringing a good truck. No sponsor on it right now, but I think Timmy Hill's going to run extremely well. And I think people are going to struggle at Watkins Glen. It's a very fast track. It's personally my favorite road course, just because I think this race is more entertaining than watching, Slowpoke Gonzalez in around corners left and right. Very technical. I like fast road courses. Batherts, Watkins Glen. I can't think of any other ones at the top of my head right now, but I like this, and this seems like a race that Timmy Hill is going to do well on. I right now I have him projected for 36 points. I was messing around with him at 33, messing around with him at 37, 32. 36 to 33 is what I'm comfortable with giving Timmy Hill right now as a baseline, but I still think he's going to perform well. And man, these kids suck, man. These kids suck. Timmy Hill with a truck that's going to be faster than 45% of the field, at a track that he's at least been to in the Cup Series, at a track where I think people are going to still make mistakes, either missing the braking zone, entering the bus stop, or maybe possibly wrecking in the S's. I like Timmy Hill to do better than my projections. Right now, that's where I have him. Roger Ryu's not going to do it, or Ryu's, man. I've been staring at a computer way too long. I like Kligerman. I like Menard. I'm really, really worried about Sam Mayer. I said that he would wreck in the Xfinity Series race at Road. Where are we at, buddy? At Road America. He wrecked there. This kid he's not a road course racer. I'm still concerned about Sam. Now, he is getting, this is basically practice for the Xfinity Series. later on Saturday. It just, man, I'm so worried about Sam. Reckon he's probably my least favorite place differential play, mainly because he has the truck to get up through the field. It's just that I don't think he has the skill or the know-how to not wreck the field. He's in the Stacey Holmes car, the Brett Holmes, basically a GMS truck. It's going to be fast. Just does Sam mess up? I still lean that Sam messes up, but I have to at least give him a place differential that I think he could do if he doesn't screw up and if the rest of the field acts stupid. And so in terms of looking at the main place differential guys, we're going to do it here. So Creed would be my first at the moment. Paul Menard would be my second. It'd be AJ third. Where you at, AJ? AJ third. Kaz Gralla fourth. Probably Kligerman fifth. That's where I'm falling right now in terms of the big place differential plays. And then really outside, it's trying to get as many of these guys into the lineup as possible. That's my first priority. And then using guys that are going to get me close to at least a 5x or even like a high 4. Or even if I'm playing a guy in a 4K range, I'll take a like a 4.2 value if I can squeeze in a lot of those main place differential guys. So that's where I'm at right now. That's about all I have to talk about. It just fitting as many of the main big place differential guys into the lineup as possible. That's where I'm at right here. So let's go ahead and end this one, and I'll go ahead and get started on the Xfinity series. So tune in to that one as well. Check that one out.